Strategy podcast, where we explore the mindset shifts and strategies that you can use for success in life and success in business. I'm your host, Tony Clarkstone, CEO and founder of Tony Clarkstone Global, where we win in life, win in business. So this topic came about after a meeting I had with a business owner last week, and we had a great session. But today I wanted to bring it to the podcast and explore this common dilemma that we were talking about. Many business owners start their ventures driven by a passion for their product or service, but not necessarily a love for sales. Yet they completely understand that selling is an essential part of running any successful business. So today we're going to be discussing, why does this discomfort exist? And how can you reframe your mindset to embrace sales in a way that feels more authentic and more fulfilling? So we need to understand this discomfort, because I know a lot of business owners that feel really uneasy about the sales part of the job. They just don't like it. And it's because we've been led to believe that all salespeople are pushy, insincere, they're only there because they want to make money, and they're not really interested in the customer at all. So this stereotype can be extremely off-putting to those entrepreneurs that value integrity and building strong, genuine relationships. And unfortunately, this stereotype has been perpetuated by poor sales training and, to be honest with you, a lack of empathy in the sales profession. As someone who has spent over 20 years in sales, I've witnessed this firsthand, how this stereotype has been formed. But I'm here to tell you today that sales doesn't need to be done this way. The discomfort often stems from a misunderstanding of what sales truly is. Because at its core, sales is about solving problems and meeting needs. And when you approach it with the right mindset, it becomes an extension of the passion you have for your products and services. So to overcome the discomfort, it's critical that you reframe your understanding of sales. So instead of viewing it as a necessary evil, just something that has to be done, think of it as an opportunity to serve others. Now, I know it's hard. You get caught up in all the features, all the benefits, especially if you're the one that's created the product and the services. You've designed it. You get caught up in these things. But I'm here to tell you that the true magic happens when you shift your focus from simply selling a product or service to selling its value. Because when you sell value, you create desire. And it's that desire that will ultimately drive the purchasing decisions. So let's break this down so that you have an understanding of how you can go away and harness this power in your sales approach. So we've talked about the fact that you need to reframe your understanding of sales before you can start selling value. So how do you do this? Well, my first advice to you is to focus on helping. Approach every sales conversation with the intention of helping the other person. Ask questions to understand their needs, their challenges. Because you need to understand the customer's needs before you can sell value. You really need to truly understand what their requirements are, what's driving them. And this involves asking the right questions and listening intently to their responses. And once you've understood that customer's needs, it's at that point that you can explain your products and services and how they can address those needs. But even that needs to be done in the right way. So the next step is you need to translate the features into benefits. Because every feature of your product should be tied to a benefit that addresses a specific customer need. So, for example, if you worked in software, and I've worked in software previously, if you said something like, our software has real-time analytics features. To translate features into benefits, you could say our software provides real-time analytics, which will help you make really informed decisions quickly and stay ahead of your competition. You need to translate features into benefits. And while you're going through this process, you are effectively demonstrating that you have listened to their needs, to their requirements, and you start building relationships, which is the next step. You need to stop thinking about sales as a one-off transaction, because I'm telling you now, it's not. It's about building long-term relationships. And when you focus on cultivating trust and rapport, the sales process becomes more natural, more enjoyable. And while you're going through this process, make sure you're being authentic. Don't start adapting a sales persona because it doesn't work. Be yourself. Let your passion for your business shine through, because authenticity is attractive and it builds trust. The final part of this is that you need to be focusing on the outcome. You need to become a master at painting a picture of the features of what your product's going to do for that client. How will it transform their business? How will it transform their lives? People buy outcomes, not products. So I've given you this information now, but how can you use some practical strategies that are non-sales that will enable you to create this desire that I'm talking about? One of the practical strategies for this is storytelling. Share stories about how your products or services have positively impacted somebody else. Real life examples are compelling and relatable, and it makes it easier for your potential customer to see the value in your product, because once you're selling value, the next step is to create the desire, and the desire is that emotional connection to your products or services, and it's where the real magic happens in sales. So tell a compelling story, share stories and testimonials that have benefited others, because stories are powerful tools and it evokes that emotion and it makes your value proposition more relatable. Now, another practical strategy that I use, and I've used it for many, many years, is what I like to call the educational approach. It's where you become a trusted advisor to your prospects and clients. I position myself as an expert and I focus on educating my prospects. I provide them with valuable information that helps them to make really informed decisions. And by doing this approach, it helps me to build credibility and trust. And when they're ready to buy, who do you think they're going to come to? And when they become that satisfied customer, it's at that point that I can ask them to refer me to other people that might benefit from products and services. Personal recommendations can be more effective than traditional sales. Another practical strategy that you can use is what I like to call networking authentically. Now, I don't know about you, I've attended a lot of networking events and everybody goes the same way. They go there to sell their business. In my view, that's the wrong way. Because what you should be doing is going to networking events to focus on building a genuine connection rather than pitching your products and services. And the reason for that is you don't know what their requirements are. You don't know what their needs are. You're not going to get that from one networking event. So instead of going there to pitch, go there to build a genuine connection. And use the steps that I've discussed previously to enable you to become a trusted advisor to that person. And then you can pitch your products and services once you understand what their needs are. So then how do we go from, we've done all of this, we've talked a lot about how we're reframing our mind, how we approach the situation, but how do we leverage desire to drive our sales. Because as I said, desire is a powerful motivator in consumer behavior. And when customers strongly desire a product, they will often pay a premium for it. And by understanding and harnessing this desire, businesses can significantly boost their sales and profitability. So I have a course on this, but as I've discussed previously, some of the highlights that are covered within those courses. So just to recap, we're identifying the customer's desire, and we'll do that by asking quality questions and listening to what, intently to what their responses are. We can also use research, conducting research, market research internally to identify the customer's desire. We then need to create a compelling narrative, and we can do that through a number of suggestions that I've made, which is telling emotional storytelling, taking the educational approach. And then the next step is really to align with the customer's aspirations. Now, we can do that in two ways. Value-based marketing, which is where we highlight the values, we emphasize how your products align with theirs, such as sustainability or innovation. And then we have value-based pricing, where we're not competing on price, we're focusing on the value of our products. So if the product is saving that company thousands of pounds or significantly helping their efficiencies, we're going to price it accordingly, because customers are willing to pay when they see that it's going to deliver significant value. And then the next step is really to build a strong brand identity. And we can do that through emotional connections. So it's really important to remember that desire plus need equals action. And if you understand and cater for what your customer wants, create a compelling narrative, and understand the unique value that can transform their interest into profitable actions. Remember, the goal is to align your products and services with the desire of your customer, ensuring they see your offering as a key to fulfilling their need and their aspirations. Desire is where the money is. When a customer desires your product, they're willing to pay for it. Now, on my closing thoughts, what I want you to do is embrace sales. Embrace the sales role. I need you to recognize that sales is a vital part of your business's success, and you can approach it in a way that aligns with your values. I want you to celebrate the wins and remember that every conversation that you have is an opportunity to learn and grow. Selling value is the key to creating desire. And desire is where the money is. And by understanding your customers' needs, translating them into benefits, and building an emotional connection, you can transform your sales approach and achieve greater success. Thank you for tuning into TCG Podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe and leave us a review. Join us next time as we continue to explore how compassion and empathy can really transform your sales approach. Until then, keep selling with heart. Thank you.